It's Alexis and Mark, and this is Dishing with Dad.
So first, before you get started, I gotta pull myself up.
Okay.
It's Thanksgiving, so I wanted to always have my Thanksgiving beer hunt on this one. But yeah, for everybody out there, I go through Thanksgiving every year, and attempt to find.
Where's mine?
Oh, you want that too?
Well, of course I do.
All right, and attempt to go out and find Bourbon County barrel stout.
All right, okay. Explain what Bourbon County. What?
It's a Goose Island every year.
And Goose Island is a brewery.
Yeah, here in Chicago.
And so that's where we are.
Yep. And I love their Bourbon County branded beer. Okay, it's a very thick stout that's like, I don't know, 15% by volume. And but
oh
what
my
they,
god,
but what
that's
they,
more
what
than
they
like
do
most
is they basically
table
take
wines.
stout. They take stout beers and they dump it into a barrel. That they got it from Angel's MB or from Buffalo Trace or whoever. A lot of the bourbon places, they dump it in there, get it all set and ready to go. Every year it's got that bourbon taste, little taste to it. And then the proprietors of Goose Island, they put in like some nut flavors, cherries, things like that. Add a little bit more oomph to it, other than a straight up bourbon.
That's the best.
Beer.
I think the next time we go to a tasting, I think that has to be like our descriptor. We have to say, "Oh, it's definitely got oomph."
Yeah, because bourbon barrels are definitely, like you said, it's heavier in alcohol. You can certainly taste that.
Yeah, I mean, when you said 15%, I was like, "This is heavy." So actually, this kind of reminds me of our live. I feel like we have to go live after this.
Well,
because we used to do, as I said, I think in other episodes, like we used to do like live beer reviews during the pandemic, and that was so much fun.
And I'm sure if the intelligent people out there could probably hunt it down and find it, because I don't think we've ever taken off the air off of online.
What do you mean intelligent people? I have copies of it.
Oh, okay. Well, there's that, but anyway, but it's online somewhere. But I usually go out right after Thanksgiving. It's my Black Friday finds, I guess you would say, which is we're pretty much driving over to the local liquor store and finding the different types.
Yeah.
And every year they come up with 6 to 8 different types of beer. This year was 6. I got 5 out of 6. I found 5 out of 6. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. This isn't like, I got to go find in the back of the store, hidden away.
Yeah, you're gonna go back there and be like, hand somebody like a tenner and just be like, oh.
No, they have displays. Okay. Now, I've done that where I've gone into liquor stores and I've said, hey, I'm really looking for this one.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, yeah, that's kind of out, but
they're like, yeah, good luck.
Some of our members, though, we allow them to kind of save it.
Yeah.
But they haven't shown up. So I've got a couple extra back here. And so he's like, oh, here it is. Like, awesome, great. Now, is that true, or is that the old, well, I've got one left and you get it and it's this price? Awesome, I'll take it.
Yeah.
And the next guy comes in,
I've
only got one left.
I feel like it's like one of those where you like give somebody a tenner and you're just like, here you go, I'll take it.
You know something, when you're on the hunt like that, sometimes what you got to do. Now, the one that I didn't get was a proprietor's one that unfortunately was not available. And I asked him, hey, can you call around? And they're like, we don't allow that.
So normally, they don't allow you to call around and like
they won't call around to look at inventory. Other places. So
they're like, you gotta go find it yourself.
Yeah, if you go to the other one, in the Schaumburg area, you're like, oh, great.
You're like, maybe they have it. Okay, so what I've always loved about Bourbon County is that they like label it with the year. Mm-hmm. So I know you have a couple of these from like 2022, 2023, something like that. And now
Don't take a step back. Since I downsized
Did you sip it?
Yes, my living space. Since I downsized my living space, I had to, the collector's bottles that are sitting on the shelf had to kind of go, so we kind of drank them down.
Oh my god, it's so good.
But yeah, 2022, 2023, 2024, 25, now 25, all drank down. Now the idea is, if you really go to their site, they tell you, oh well, it'd be great if you can have them sit 2 to 5 years. Okay, and then after 5th year, it should be at peak. But anywhere between 2 to 5 could be peak, depending on what they barreled it with.
So basically, this is a 2025.
This is a 2025.
Peak could be anywhere between like 2028, 2030.
Yeah, and they do have for lack of a better term, a generic bourbon barrel. That's what we're drinking right here, Bourbon County Stout. So that's kind of, you get kind of the same taste every year. You get that very alcoholic taste, but you get that throat throat burn
See,
like a bourbon.
I don't get the alcohol taste. So let's go into the tasting part of this, right? Okay, so I don't get the alcohol taste. Like it doesn't smack me in the face and say, "Oh, this is alcoholic."
Yeah.
To me, this is very warming in the back, but it's not so warming that it feels like it's got like cinnamon or nutmeg or, like it's not spicy warming. It's just warming because of the fact that it's stout and bourbon barrel. Like that's what I feel.
I think definitely the stout is what it is. Because stout has coffee and chocolatey taste. Okay, that's its primary. That's what it like. That's what stouts really taste like.
Yeah.
Okay, chocolate and coffee. But there's a good creamy blend to it.
But the fact that this is like 14.5%, and that's what it says on the bottle here, it says 14.8% alcohol by volume.
All right. So I rounded a little rounding.
This is a glass of wine here.
Yeah. Oh no, and you drink enough of these, it gets pretty nuts. Okay, so like I said, 14.8%, not bad, and I love the creaminess of these things.
Oh my, it's so easy to drink, and I'm not much of a beer drinker, but it's like, to me, it's kind of like a port style because it's got like that viscosity that a port style wine has, or a port wine has. That the dessert wine, it has that viscosity,
and that's where you're really good. You're really good at that wine thing. I can do the whole tasting, be able to pull things out, and it's a lot of fun going out with you, trying to figure it out with the sitting there with the baristas or whatever. Well,
it was so funny because yesterday as a family, like we all went out to do a wine tasting. So we're here as Dad said, we're here in Chicago. Finally doing our first in-person recording, and it was fun. We went to Cooper's Hawk Winery and we did a wine tasting because one of our family members is a member, so we got complimentary stuff because who doesn't love free stuff?
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh my gosh! And they poured like 8 pours, and those pours were like this size. I swear, it was awesome.
Not gonna lie. Hats off to Cooper's Hawk because they give you the whole menu of wines that they make.
Yeah, and
they taste from.
And I don't know if it was because so Uncle Mike only had like the 2 complimentary tastings, right, or whatever. So he used it on me and himself. But then like I don't know if it was because you were with Uncle Mike, but like they also let you pick from any of the wines. Whereas most wineries will be like, oh, well, if you're not a member, you can't sample these wines.
Yeah.
Sometimes they do because they're like, oh, I'm just going to let you do it or whatever. Yeah. And that's a sales tactic.
Yeah.
But in this case, they're like, yeah, whatever. You can try whatever the heck you want. And it was awesome. Yeah, but yesterday it was so much fun because like I felt like it was great to just be able to go in there and talk wine. But I remember talking to the woman across the bar, like, who was serving us. And saying like, yeah, part of how I sell wine is just saying like, you can throw out words like viscosity and tannin and mouthfeel and cherry and leather and tobacco. You can throw out all these kinds of descriptors. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I feel like the best thing to do is actually just like describe a scenario. Yeah. Right, where it's like, okay, this wine I would drink, après ski in a chalet in Switzerland. That's what it feels like. This wine, I would drink.
Poured over ice cream.
Yeah, this wine I would pour over ice cream. This wine I would drink inside a freaking flask at a basketball game. It's more about experience, I feel, personally.
I did find it rather interesting just observing, and I've observed this at numerous other tastings you and I have done. Nobody's near as, I don't want to call it, it's a tough word to say, fun with it. They're literally, you and I are literally just hamming it up, for lack of a better term, saying, oh, well, this tastes, dude, it's like, dude, do you get the chocolate out of that one? Or do you check out the cherry?
Well, let's do that right now. So, like, what are you getting out of
hold on. Okay. The point I want to more make here is, it seems like I've been to so many tastings, and every time we go to tastings, there's always a big group of people, or a group of people, couples or something like that, or just, people hanging out. None of them just say, dude, the cherry. You taste the cherry, or this thing really goes with, oh my God, this thing's thick. You don't hear people just exclaiming
to talk. Yeah, well, it's like, I don't know. I wonder if part of that is just people being nervous about coming off like incorrect or whatever. And I'm like, there's nothing to be afraid of and nothing to be worried about when it comes to that, because at the end of the day, I don't know what your mouth is feeling. I don't know what your mouth is
exactly.
tasting.
And I think
like, I can't be.
I think we've talked.
You can't be wrong.
I've done enough beer samplings as you've done, and you've done plenty of wine samplings to know that the people behind the bar will tell you exactly that. They'll say, I don't know what your palates are different than my palates. So that's why we ask you those questions of, okay, what are you more into if you can? So
I've always found that if it's done well, like I think Cooper Hawk's descriptors, like on their on their suggested tasting menu had descriptors on it. So it said this one has notes of cherry and stone fruit and minerality to it, or leather and tobacco, right? Like it had those. I think that those have always been guidelines. Yeah. That's kind of what I've always told people. I was like, this is what the winemaker is noting, or this is what the marketing team is noting and things like that. It doesn't mean that that's the only thing you're going to get. For all you know, you're going to get, this tastes like I told you, the one wine we tried yesterday, it tasted exactly like the ice cream gelati, like the ice cream gelati mixes from Rita's that I got as a kid.
Yeah, and I think that was an apt descriptor of that particular
That's exactly
wine.
what it tasted like to me.
And then, there is a level of nostalgia in that particular
I was like, I need 80 of these because I'm like,
it's
this
like
is
every time you drink it, you're going to think about that.
Boozy childhood reminder now,
And I think that's exactly what sampling has got to be like. It's if you get that wow factor.
Yeah.
Or, just things like that just say, okay, I feel like this.
Yeah.
And then, when you're going out to sample stuff, do that. Say, oh, this is what it makes me feel like. This is what I feel like I'm tasting. And don't worry about whether or not people reinforce, oh, well, yeah, that was a good guess. Good guess, or you got that right.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like it's a quiz where you get something right or wrong.
Yeah.
But I will say, if you say something like that, like I described it as, it reminds me of the sugar-free cherry and chocolate custard gelatis I used to get from Rita's or whatever. Some people will be like, oh, yes!
Yeah.
And like that
they're thinking
opens
about,
you up to discussion.
Right. Some people are like thinking, something? That's kind of what I just couldn't describe it.
Yes.
And giving them that way out is like going forward. They're like, okay, now if I think about it more in terms of what I already know and taste my rather regular, that's better versus saying, I'm looking at the descriptor, it says dried cherries. What is a dried cherry?
Yeah, it's like I think people get in their heads too much when they're trying it. They're like, oh, and that's why for me it's like, and I think most people will even say this, it's like you don't go into it reading like, oh, it's gonna taste like this, this, and this. Yeah. After a while, Cabernet Sauvignon done in an oak barrel or whatever is going to taste like, it's usually going to taste like this or what have you, because that's just the nature of the grape, right? But
once you get past that, you can go deeper.
You can go deeper.
So I'm learning that aspect. And it applies to any alcohol you drink. You can even do that. But vodka.
I feel like it's also
tequila,
absolutely
everything, things like that.
Well, I feel like it's also a shorthand for saying like, oh, if you don't like cherry, don't drink this wine. If you don't like smokiness, don't drink a mezcal. I think there's a shorthand there that eventually it helps you refine your palate. So I think that's another reason why I encourage people, like, especially when I worked at wineries, I would encourage people. I'm like, no, try describing it because it's going to help you narrow down what you like faster.
Yeah, and
what you don't like faster.
I know you've had a lot of experience doing a lot of tasting, so have I, and stuff like that. The younger people, like you guys, it's like, I just don't feel like diving into it. They're just going to drink. Well, that's fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, it's like, have a little fun with it. That's kind of what I'm thinking about. It's like, when you're going there, go and enjoy it, and have fun with it, because nobody's going to judge you. Even the people behind the bar are like, well, even if you're way off, who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
Again, I don't know what you taste or something like that.
Exactly.
So like with this one, I always expect a certain taste. I always expect the coffee at the back end. I expect it to be bourbony, a little alcohol-y. That's what a lot of the bourbon kind of tastes like. Okay. Should get a little bit of cocoa, and then this type of stout is creamy. Some stouts are more almost fizzy. This one will
really
be more creamy. That's what I always expect going into what I would call their normal blend that they do every year. Okay. Otherwise, the other 4 I have are going to be unique.
Okay. So now that I've taken a lot of time to sniff it and to like really sample it, my first nose thought was, you mentioned cocoa, and like I agree with you, it like has that, but it's not quite. It is definitely like cocoa and then sort of like cocoa nut, which is interesting because those are two different plants, obviously.
Yep.
But I kind of get that. But then when I'm tasting it, the first thing I take is just smacked with it. Like tastes like a Twizzler. Like it's licorice to me.
Like black or red?
Red.
Okay, because I'm not a fan of the black licorice in general.
No.
It's I don't know why the bitter taste is just not there. That's the type of taste that feels like. Well, it's the type of taste I feel like it's always in my brain.
What, the black licorice? Yeah, and you're like, I don't want this. I don't want this.
And I greet somebody an hour later, like, man, do I smell like black licorice or something like that? That's how bad I feel about black licorice. I mean, there are a lot of people out there that like it. Not me.
They love it. Some people just love it. They're like, oh, give me that black licorice. And I'm like, you have it all day long, bro.
No. Okay, let me.
How about you?
I'm going to ask you this question. And you won't be able to ask me this question because I have a very low memory in that sense. All right. First time you ever drank. Do you recall? And do you recall what it is? Okay. And
first time I ever drank?
Drank. Like,
I mean,
drank something to drink something. Not here, have a drink, have a shot. No. It's one of those things like,
okay, when
I'm asking, right? And this is a judgment-free zone. You're well over age now. You can go ahead and sneak that story out.
Yeah. I'm not worried about it. No, well, okay. So first of all, you need to tell me what you're tasting and stuff first.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Wait to do that, and then I'll answer your question.
Fair enough. Now the smell. Mm-hmm. I agree. Now you mention it. Oh my God, it's a Twizzler through and through. Mm-hmm. Red Twizzler through and through.
Mm-hmm. Red Twizzler. But it's funny because I personally don't get that on the smell.
I got it on the smell.
Okay, now I get on the smell.
Yeah. Yeah. And on the taste, I got the description that it kind of talked about. Now, don't get me wrong. You guys probably saw us sip a few, so I already got it in my head. Yep, that's the alcoholiness of it. I already got it in my head what I'm thinking, so I already know. But
yeah, and that's also why I tell people, try not to share it too fast.
But you really got to get it swirled around your mouth because there's different areas of your mouth that get different tastes. Mm-hmm. And I always tend to get like that last second taste of back here. The back of the jaw. It just
sits right here. And you know what it has? It has a really, I mean, the bourbon counties have always had like a nice mouth feel.
Yeah.
They've always been really big.
Yep.
They've always been really, but again, creamy is a great way to describe the texture.
Yep.
But this one also has like a nice long finish. Like it's still, like this is definitely a sipper.
Now, this is
dessert
this
too. Like
is
I
my
definitely
first
don't
time,
want to
my
match
first
it with anything.
starter bourbon barrel type of drink. Okay. I started.
Oh my God, that's like starting with Blanton's as a whiskey.
Yeah, no,
it's nice.
But it's fun. No, it's funny you should say that because the only reason why I say I started with this one is because once you do that and you start going, you go to breweries and you start following them on their pages, then you follow that. You see that they do specialty things like this. Mm-hmm. They'll do a bourbon barrel XYZ of one of their
limited releases.
Yeah. So like these guys have their own stout in general. So Mount's Bourbon County, that's what they do. Like all the other places have their own stout. Now they turn it into bourbon a little bit, or some other one, like someone do wine casks.
Yeah,
things like that. And all of a sudden, at the end of the year, or sometimes the year, they just pop them out of there.
Some of these beers that have been finished in port casks or sherry casks, oh my God!
Yes,
I could drink those all day long.
Yeah, so kudos to the brewmasters for being able to throw all that stuff around there because it was like, oh my gosh. And I could wax poetic a lot about beer because I like it. Mm-hmm. I enjoy it. I enjoy sampling it like this. Never been I need a pound down 25 beers type of person. But then again, I don't.
Well, that kind of brings me.
I love drinking coffee too, but I will have a cup of coffee that will just sit there if I get a large one, and it'll sit there and from 8 o'clock till 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I'll continue to drink it. I savor it in that sense. So call me snobby, whatever, but.
I don't think that's snobby. I just think that's like...
I just kind of enjoy it. And that's the same thing with bourbon, not kind of a bourbon barrel, anything barrel, honestly. If it's on the menu, I'm tackling that first.
Yeah,
just like a triple IPA, I'm tackling that first because I found that those are my favorites.
So you asked me that question earlier about like when the first time I drank was. Yeah. So, I mean,
like I said, it's a judgment-free zone now.
I was never worried about that.
It's like...
Okay. I was never worried about that.
All right.
That's very kind of you. Thank you, Dad. But I was never worried about that. But I feel like for me, you kind of you and Mom taught me to like not really like abuse it, I guess. Don't get me wrong. I definitely did in college, but because you guys gave me samples of things behind growing up and like, especially during New Year's Eve or what have you, like it wasn't a big deal. Like I never really saw it as like, yeah, let's go get wasted, right. But in college, right before I turned 21, I find like I was such a goody two shoes in college. I was such a goody two shoes. I didn't drink much until right before I turned 21, and I was like, yeah, I need to loosen up a little bit. I want to have a college life, right? So I was the only girl in the wrestling club, not team, but wrestling club.
Yeah.
In the wrestling club, whatever. I was the only girl. And there was one time we were having a mixer with the cheerleading squad or what have you, and so it was mostly the guys. It was guys and girls, like a mixer or whatever. And then I was the only girl on the guys' side, and literally this party, it was like the girls were on one side of the room and the guys were on the other side of the room. So eventually I was like, oh my God, like what is happening here? So bad. I was like, what are we in high school? Okay. Yeah. So I took a bottle of Fireball and I started pouring everyone shots, and I said, okay, like let's do a drinking game. Let's do, so I think I did never have I ever kind of thing.
Okay. So you use it as an icebreaker.
Yeah.
or firebreaker in this case. Fireball. Yep, that is him. But yeah.
But because I was like going over there and talking to some of the girls and like either vetting or being like, I love my friend, but do not date him. He's great if you don't.
All right.
If you're not looking for that, he's good. If you want to date him, maybe take a step back.
Yeah,
but if you're looking for a rebound, he's great.
But there's
and then I go over to the guys and I'm like, she seems crazy. You know, like it was great.
I was gonna say, but there's no way you were doing that right off the bat.
No, I was very drunk at that point.
Okay, I was going to say, that's
hammered.
Inebriation talking.
But I think I played wingman to quite a few people that night, and I was very proud of myself.
If it helped somebody or hurt, or I don't want to say hurt, but if it helped somebody or prevented somebody from a bad matchup, then more power to you.
Well, and see, like I trusted all the guys on the team too, so that's part of the reason why I partied with them.
Yeah, you have to do that.
Yeah.
You know, when you're on any team sport, regardless if it's club or not anything, like you have to.
It wasn't even the club thing, but it was like, just the fact that I was a young woman, I was like, I trusted those guys.
Okay.
So I didn't have any issue with that. But some of them I was like, I love you, but you're a mess. Like, you should not be dating.
But this wasn't one of those bros bro host type of thing situation where you view yourself as a bro.
No, I was this awkward bro ho.
Okay.
I was like in between. I was like, am I a girlfriend?
Yeah.
Am I a bruh? Like, I was like a bruh.
Okay.
Proud of myself.
I can tell you this, right? Yeah, I think that was my first real introduction into the holy cow.
That being said, I can't drink Fireball anymore. Ever since that party, I cannot drink Fireball.
I do like Fireball. I won't complain about that. But
I've had it like in a mixer where it's like mixed drink where it's like one of 8 ingredients, not like Coke and Fireball. I can't do that.
Okay. Some moderation in my mind. I think the Coke and Fireball thing really does work.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's a great combination. But ever since that party, can't do it by itself.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Fair enough. But yeah, I'm mine. Got it. And this was a bowling team party. So we were, I want to say we were probably in Indiana State or something like that. Hotel room at post match. And, we're all just having a good old time. That's the first place I think I threw up from alcohol. Of course, I tried to play it off to the team after I walked out of the bathroom of like, I just needed the break, or I just needed to go to
they
the
all probably heard you just projectile.
I'm sure it was something along those lines.
I'm sorry,
a lot of pats on the back afterwards. Say, hey, you doing all right? Oh yeah, I just had it. I said, the pats didn't seem like that they were believable pats.
They were like, yeah, that's a good try. Yeah.
Needless to say that I was not fielded in the first match the next day.
Oh my god.
So I want to feel like it was because I wasn't the right fit against the other team. Are
you kidding me? Your coach probably was like, holy.
Well, no. And I'm sure this is how it was in the wrestling team too. The coach was also a student.
Our coach was not.
Oh, no, we didn't. We legit had a graduate assistant coach. That was, they always, every year as they graduate, somebody becomes responsible for the team.
I genuinely can't remember. Maybe he was like a grad. Yeah, maybe he was a grad student.
Yeah, grad student.
But I remember he was married and stuff. So I was like, I don't know. I feel like, especially like when you're like in your early 20s, or late teens, it's like if you're married, you're like, oh, you're so old, even though you could be 25 and married. But so maybe he was a grad student. I don't remember. All I know is that there was one time we had. We were doing like tons of God, what were we doing? We were doing all kinds of like conditioning drills or whatever, and he literally set up trash cans along the perimeter of the thing, and I was like,
nothing that could result with trash cans.
Yeah,
when I was in middle school basketball, coach set out trash cans around the court, but it wasn't because of that. It was because
he didn't want you to hit them. No,
he wanted to make sure we stayed on the outside of the court when we were running and not cutting corners.
Fair.
Okay, so that was.
This was very much on the opposite side. No.
He was going until you throw.
Yep. A few of the guys definitely did.
Well, but if to draw the conclusions, he was definitely helping you guys most likely make weight.
That's what I think too. I never competed because there was no one for me to compete with, and also my jiu-jitsu background really to me on that side because in jiu-jitsu you can go to your back, but in wrestling you can't go to your back. So like literally the first time I went in, they're like, and I went to my back and they're like, you can't do that. I was like,
lose points. Lose points. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So again, I've never been like a competitive let's get a points thing. I've been like you go until you tap out.
Yeah, okay.
So it was
you don't really realize
so I don't really compete for multiple reasons. I just enjoyed hanging out with the guys and doing stuff like that. And then
shape and stuff like that.
Part of the reason why I joined the wrestling club was because I didn't realize there was a BJJ club. And then one day I passed somebody wearing a gi and I was like, right? Yes. Okay. Thank you. A Brazilian jiu-jitsu club, and one day I passed somebody in the hallway and I was like, are you wearing a gi? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, what? Tell me everything. And he's like, yeah, we meet on this night at this. I was like, it was wild.
Did you end up going any?
A couple times.
Okay. All right.
A couple times. Yeah, I ended up partying with them too. They were great. I got into a few fights with those guys. It was great. At bars. I backed up. It was awesome.
Oh, okay. I was like, what?
No, I backed up at bars. It was pretty cool.
Oh, Mike and I were talking about this the other night. He's like, did you ever have those friends that as they drank, they were looking for fights?
Not really. Like a couple of friends who would just get like really rowdy. Mm-hmm. It's funny because when I'm with my girlfriends, I'm that one. None that were like, if you go out with them, like you're gonna have to pull your friend off. No.
Yeah. Okay. No, I didn't have any of those either. And the only reason why that question really popped up was because like watching Letterkenny and the guys are just looking for fights. There's always some, every other day it seemed like everybody's looking for a fight in that show. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, well, that's how the subject matter came. I was like, okay, well, that kind of makes sense.
No, there were definitely times like, and I didn't go to a big school. I didn't go to a big college. So like, there was none of that. We watched the Ohio State Michigan game today. Yeah. It's like there are those things where it's like the rivalry is so big that like that kind of stuff can happen.
Don't get me wrong. I enjoy the posturing of sports when it comes to it, especially rivalry games. It's just I don't like it going that extra step. Mm-mm. Because in the end, I'm going, guys, it's just in some cases a game.
Frankly, if you're gonna do that, just go do a mosh pit at a metal concert.
Yeah,
like just do that.
I've seen my fair share of mosh pits. I'm like going, nope. I'll go to the rail and headbang. Mm-hmm. Okay, but even just trying to say, I'll try walking through there and stuff like that. But no.
See, I've done that a couple times. But I've walked through mosh pits before and I kind of shoved a few people. But other than that,
I kind of view myself as that elk that the cheetah grabs at the end of the herd. I'm the weak one. So I start walking through something like that.
You just get shoved right into it.
Somebody's just gonna eye me up. I know that's the guy right there. He's about ready to go flying into the boards like being checked.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
maybe not.
Don't get me wrong. It's got me curious. Yeah. But I'm not sure if that's curious enough.
It's well, and that's part of the reason why I'm like, if you're gonna start a fight for something, like go do something where it's like quote unquote sanctioned like that, where it's like
I agree.
And for the most part, it's not throwing fists. It's like this weird bouncing around, pushing, shoving thing, which is strange. But also it makes total sense because you're like, you're bopping to music, so you're like bouncing around.
Maybe I'm totally overanalyzing a mosh pit too.
Did you? Also, there's more.
There's a little bit more, yeah. But maybe I'm overanalyzing the mosh pit a little bit. There always seems to be at least one guy that seems to be the coordinator.
Oh, yes. Or like one or two.
He's kind of watching the whole thing and making sure it doesn't get out of hand.
I think there's usually a few people, and like there's people on the outside who kind of do that. I think that's just kind of the mentality of like, there's a lot of stuff happening here.
Yeah, because I just feel like that one guy is watching out. If there's 20 guys mosh pitting from side to side, banging around like pinballs. There's always that moderator, we'll call it, is looking for that one guy that looks like he's really more out to injure people.
Or if someone like fell down and like really needs help immediately and like kind of breaks it up really quickly.
Yeah.
There's definitely a few of those for sure.
Yeah.
But like some of these, like what's the biggest mosh pit you've ever seen?
No more than 10 people.
I think I've seen like one was like 20.
Oh.
Yeah.
But what's amazing is like, whenever the DJ or the concert or the band calls for a mosh pit, all of a sudden somehow it spreads out like some weird Shogun showdown of some sort. All of a sudden like a hole opens up.
That's always how it goes.
I don't know, but it does. But how do we know that those are the people that really wanted the mosh pit? How does that work?
Well, people will gravitate. Like, I feel like you see, like, I've seen people, like, not from the stage, but, like, I'm imagining if I was on the stage, but, like, I've seen people, like, around me be like, oh, yeah, let's move over. You know what I mean? Like, even some of my friends are like, yeah, let's go join the mosh pit, and they like, move towards it.
Right, but it's like, but how does it just magically appear in that one spot? It's like, is it because
I feel like it's an offering to the band.
3 or 4 guys that were doing a mini mosh. And so all of a sudden,
I feel like
everybody just backed up. Everybody's backed up that because this is the place where the mosh is happening.
You know, I think it's partially because of the fact that like you have those people in the front row, and like let's be honest, it's only at a certain usually it's at metal concerts, right? But like you have all these people who are up at the front row, and I think bands will call for it if they notice that it's like these really aggressive, like headbanging kind of people, and they'll be like mosh pit or whatever, and it always happens like right in front of the band.
Yeah.
You know, so
where security is at, or more just because? Well,
just because it's like I said, it's almost like an offering to the music. Well, it's an offering to the music gods.
And I purchased tickets online, and you know it's a heavy metal band or a heavy bass or whatever it is. And
oh my god, I bet you Skrillex probably had mosh pits.
Oh, I'm sure they did. And
is it like that dubstep?
What would you end up? Well, there's a lot of dubstep that I listen to, and that they definitely a few of them call out for the mosh pit. But online, you'll see in the ticket. If you go to the layout of the stadium, there's actually a zone designated for, you know, they call it standing room, okay? Mm-hmm. But off to the side, there's an asterisk that says, you know, if you're not into like mosh pits or something like that, this is the designated area for it, but, you know, stay away.
See, and like that's, event planners have it right for some stuff that we need to be doing in our society. It's like, yeah, if you don't want to be part of this behavior happens at this section of the thing.
Yeah,
don't
stay
come
away.
here.
Exactly.
Like, I feel like we need to have that for so many more behaviors in our culture, in our country, and in our society.
But unfortunately, it's like me. It's like being drawn to, you know, there's a car wreck or something, or a train wreck getting ready to happen. It's like,
oh my god,
there's a mosh pit over there. I'm like, okay, let me go. You know, I don't know if it's gonna hurt, so it's okay to be an observer. So I'm like, okay, I gotta see this.
Well, yeah, but again, I feel like it's because it's actually sanctioned. Yeah. I don't want to watch a car wreck.
No, I mean, you know, a car wreck. I'll watch a car wreck any day as long as there's no people involved. You know,
or it's an F1 car where it's like, they walked away.
Yeah, but you know, a train wreck like there's a train wreck in San Antonio. Band truck got hammered. Vandergrift High School band.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Why are you smiling?
Because, well, that's where my nephew played band. And so they were in a competition in San Antonio, and they get this big 18-wheeler, beautiful 18-wheeler they have set up and everything.
Oh my god.
From the school that they put it. And the truck was heading to San Antonio for the competition. And it was crossing the track, and either the stoplight or it got somehow it just got.
So that's why you're smiling, because it's just the band equipment.
Exactly. You know, and then
oh my god.
Well, basically, yeah. And unfortunately, the train was coming.
I'm assuming that train operator was also okay.
Oh yeah, they were aware.
Yeah.
Completely. Unfortunately, you know, it's a big train.
You can't
slow it
stop it in time. You're just like,
but
I wonder how it is to be.
But the truck driver managed to get out of the cab. You know, and he was like, "It's not happening. I can't get this truck because it's somehow wedged."
Good for him or her.
And he filmed it.
Or them.
He filmed it. It was on the internet, and you just see this truck, this train plowed right into the side of the truck, like T-boned it. A lot of the equipment was damaged, of course, but what was great out of this whole thing was
the sounds must have been insane. I'm sorry.
No, it wasn't like that, because everything is like stuffed and made sure for protection. Because we transport an 18-wheeler.
True, but I guess like I can imagine like all the cymbals going everywhere.
I know, right. You know, some weird instrumental thing that happens.
Yeah.
No, not quite like that. But they did, a lot of pieces of equipment were damaged, so they couldn't play with those equipment. But what they did was their time slot got delayed like 4 or 5 hours, and bands around them provided the instruments that couldn't be played.
That's really nice.
And you know, and the alumni group was able to get access to the truck to pull and check for which ones were damaged, which ones weren't, so they can get it to the band members. So, you know, it ended up being pulled together pretty well. But like I said, to see the train wreck happening,
I agree with
that's
you.
what I'm saying. I don't mind seeing a wreck as long as there's nobody going to get hurt.
Yeah, of course.
Because insurance will take care of the rest. But so that's why I like talking about mosh pits. Like, you know, you just get drawn to it, even though you don't want to participate.
I love watching a mosh pit.
So, but I would just one of these days, I'm gonna like I said, I'm just gonna get to the rail and headbang. I mean, look at this flowing mane of hair that I'll be able to headbang with. But you know something, it's like everybody's there and having fun, so they'll look left, look right. Go, hey, cool man, let's go.
Yeah, just make sure I'm not gonna lie. You literally have to make sure you stretch before you do that.
Oh, it hurts.
Straight up. I mean, like I literally just finished recovering from headbanging too hard at a wedding of all places.
No, for me, it's always been off to the side, and I'm just like this,
yeah.
You know, but now to do the full on motion, core, and all that stuff at my age,
I did like the full on.
Yeah, that's
with
probably,
the hair.
That's probably really good advice.
Yeah, stretch
because I will continue to do this until I'm probably in the grave, and so therefore, it's probably a smart.
Probably be Raven in the grave.
Oh, why not? Why not? That might be on an epitaph on my grave. You know, who knows? So yeah, that's kind of a lot of, man, it hurts. That would hurt.
What hurt?
Just headbanging, but you know,
I love
it. It's what I want to do in life. So
do it. I'm giving that warning because like I had this, like literally one of my thoracic were like swollen. It was like full on swollen, and I could feel it. And I touched it. And I was like, ow.
And you knew exactly what it was from.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. Because I woke up, like I left a wedding that night, and I was hammered as hell, of course. But I was like, I was sore already.
Did you go any wedding or celebration or anything like? You're gonna go hardcore. I know you.
Yeah, but it was also following the heels of already having this. This was already injured.
Oh.
So really, what I did was I re-injured it. But I would highly recommend just really stretching your cervical spine and your thoracic spine, especially.
I will remember that, and I'll ask the guy next to me, say, "Do you mind if I stretch first?"
No, you have to say, "Do you mind if I stretch my thoracic spine right now?"
Oh, absolutely. You know, right there at the rail of the fence with the guy that's already had probably 25 tokes and God knows whatever else, and he's wearing
MDMA.
And he's wearing a Tarzan costume, and he's just headbanging away. And I turn him, "Hey man, you mind to join?" Yeah, let's go.
He's probably that person's probably actually going to be a PT. They'll be like, "Yo, yeah, you should do this stretch too."
Yeah, you should really do that. I found that it gives me the full on motion.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and you know something? I would fucking believe that guy.
I would trust the guy in the Tarzan costume to say, "Yes, I stretched my thoracic spine today."
Yeah, absolutely. Or he'd just, well, just hold on a second. Put your arms together. I got you.
Yeah, doing like the cracking thing by this sweaty dude in a costume who's somehow ripped as well. Because you know that's always how it is.
And your mom would be right there taking that photo.
Absolutely.
So this is your dad before the stretch. This is your dad after the stretch.
I thought you were
about to say this. This is your dad on a stretcher. So yeah,
with the inevitable thumbs up though.
The inevitable thumbs up
with the freaking with the like neck brace
and then me high fiving the Tarzan guys as they're stretching me away. So yeah, but Tarzan guy, if you're out there, I'm willing to headbang. Let's go. Also, I got all these. Okay, man, I'm a PT and a Tarzan guy. All right, Lost Lands, let's go.
Yeah.
But so yeah, man, the pains.
Yeah, very much so.
But I will say I've never been around I've never been at this point going, I'm feel the getting old routine.
What do you mean?
Okay, we get up and say, "Oh my God, I'm old," or "I can't do that because I'm old." Right. Now, don't get me wrong. I've probably done things that probably should be saying that. Okay, do I get up in the morning and things creak? Yes. Do I make the statement? "Oh God, I'm old"? No, I would just say, "Man, I'm stiff."
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's old, whatever. But whatever.
Is it old or is it experienced?
No, you can't have. Look, hey, this muscle's been around for 53 years. It's experienced. No.
Yeah, that seems like it would be experienced. It's storied.
It's age
storied.
That's what it is.
It's storied.
Yeah, right. So everything's storied with me. That's for sure.
It's a vintage.
Except for my hair, I would have to say that's never going to be storied.
Well, I will say your hair compared to your siblings is a lot more silver than Lisa's or Mike's.
Yeah, I probably deal with a lot more stresses of some sort.
Which surprises me.
So, no, I don't sleep long, so I'm up a lot, thinking a lot.
Yeah, I've never understood how that works for you.
Oh, that's playing a lot of video games in life. You stay up late, you don't catch, you don't know. You did not realize what time it is.
I have played, sir, when I was in high school, I would play like, what was it, RuneScape and Minecraft and stuff like that until like 2 or 3 or 4 a.m. I know exactly what this is like.
And I know on weekends, what Final Fantasy we play.
Yes.
And guys, she was my observer because as somebody who catches details, she catches the small things. And those side quests, she's great for side quests.
I love side quests. I would always have like, especially because it came in like the boxes, right? With like the how to play pamphlet, and I would always have to be like, okay, Dad, so in this part of the map you're gonna go right, and then there should be this thing, and you're gonna find this extra secret spell slot. Yeah,
absolutely.
And,
I didn't need
else.
I didn't need to go online and find a walkthrough. It was like
this was like me. I was like,
oh, what side quest did I miss? I didn't miss too many because of you. Nowadays I'm probably missing a ton of side quests, but whatever. So yeah, I think. I don't want to say it trained me, but it's just now it's just I don't think about it. So it's like, okay, go to bed at midnight.
It's like having
6 or whatever.
No, that makes sense.
And on weekends it's a little longer, but yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you. That sounds like an excuse for not getting good sleep.
Well, it's a possibility.
Possibility or truth? I'm just gonna go with truth.
Somebody's gonna tell me it's the truth, but it's not gonna be you. You can believe it's the truth. You can say it. It doesn't make it true.
Say it, yeah. Why haven't you played Baldur's Gate yet? I'm kind of pissed off at you for not playing it.
I do have my new PC, and so it's a possibility I can get that loaded up.
I will say, that makes sense. Like it requires a lot.
I haven't gone through and like downloaded. I have to assume that there's an app system or something like that. It says, "Hey, you've got the hardware that can run it." You know,
like a software
on my old PC, I did that with Final Fantasy, the online version, and it went through and said, well, you'd have to run it in 480 DPI. Well, 480, it's going to be like pixels, like the old Final Fantasy on the Nintendo.
Minecraft,
yeah. So no, I'm not going to run that.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it will now. It's just a matter of taking a look at it.
Fair enough.
So.
Yeah. No, I still play it occasionally. I mean, I know it's been a few years since it's come out, but I still am obsessed with that game, and I feel like it's made me a better D&D player.
Well, you guys talk a lot of D&D. Say, well, I could do this in Baldur's Gate. When we're playing
D&D, we say that a lot, and then of course DM's like,
but you can't hear. So I'm glad they have an action-oriented game based on the rules of D&D, which I'm sure when you first started playing, you're like, oh, I'm kind of shocked that they literally, that's the rule set that they went with.
Well, no, I'm not shocked at all. I mean, like it's such a video game. I think it's D&D being a video game is a great thing.
Yeah.
It writes itself with regards to a rule set. But that being said, like Larian Studios did a really good job, I think, creating a game style around D&D.
True.
You know, because I mean, like not everything, that's like saying taking a book and making it a movie. Not everything from the book is going to translate well on screen. It's just the truth. And I hear that there's cake downstairs. So I'm kind of, I'm done with my drink.
Right.
I'm kind of ready to wrap up. Are you?
All right. Yep. I guess so.
I feel like there's leftovers. Like my uncle makes amazing ribs. Like
maybe next time we'll talk about it. Yeah. We'll talk about the Thanksgiving soirees that happened at this place, because I think a lot of people can relate to this. That's for sure.
Yes, indeed.
Right. Anyway.
Well, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Be sure to follow up, and we'll keep you posted.
Hit us on the socials. Get comments or questions. We'll talk. Later.